Hi there! In this week's post of my EcoBUZZ, I want to talk to you about animal tracks, because what's better to do on a cold, snowy day than to go look for animal tracks, right? But before we head out, I want to talk to you about a couple of the reasons why animal tracks are important. They can actually give us a lot of information about the ecosystem that we're in. So for example, learning about animal tracks gives us an idea of what kind of animals are in the area. Are they more land animals? Are they water animals? And they can also tell us about the habitat needs of those animals. So what kinds of things do those animals need to survive? Also, tracks can tell us a little bit about the movement patterns and the behavior patterns of the animals that we're observing. So a lot of information is packed into an animal track. Now it's important to remember that the parts of a track might be different for different animals. For example, a river otter is going to have a differently shaped footprint than a coyote does. So not everything is the same. And I'll post an example of that on the My EcoBUZZ Facebook page. And you also have to look at the size of the track. So of course we know that a bear is going to leave a bigger footprint than a fox or a skunk. So those are all things that we have to consider. But enough talk. Let's head out and try to actually find some tracks. All right, so our first track of the day should be pretty familiar to a lot of you if you are a dog owner, because yes, that's right, this belongs to a dog, the pet variety, not the wild variety. But I want to point out the different parts of this track to you. So here in the back, you can see the heel pad, that's the back of the foot or the back of the paw. And then here there's pretty distinct toe pads. I can see 4 different ones. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are the toes. And then I can also see claw marks right here at the end. So you want to look at the track to see if there are claw marks. If there are, as in this case, you know it belongs to a dog because the canines always show those claw marks. If it's a cat, on the other hand, you won't see claw marks because cats can retract their claws. So when they put their feet down, all you're going to see are the rounded toe pads. You can see the prints in the snow. It looks like there are 2 prints side by side and then a space and then 2 more prints, and then the trail keeps going like that. So this would be a track pattern for an animal that's a bounder. So when it moves, it picks up its front feet and then it moves them forward and sets them down a space ahead, and then the back feet follow but land in the same place as the front feet did as the animal is picking up its front feet to keep moving forward. So even though it looks like there's only 2 tracks in the snow, actually all 4 paws landed in the same place. So the animals in Michigan that are bounders, especially since we're right by a river here, could be, a river otter, a weasel, a mink. Because of the size of these prints, probably, here's my hand for scale, probably this is a weasel. But again, you have to take a lot of different things into consideration. So anyway, we know for sure this is a track pattern for a bounder. Okay, these tracks that I want to show you belong to another group of animals called the hoppers. And if I look at this track right here, you can see that the track consists of 2 larger, longer prints that are forward, and then 2 smaller, rounder prints that are a little harder to see in the back. Now, the hoppers are animals that, of course, move by hopping, and these include rabbits and squirrels in Michigan. And so when these animals move, their back feet, which are larger, extend beyond the front feet and actually land in front of the front feet on the ground. So that's why you see the bigger prints first. And then the front feet land behind the back feet, which is why you see the smaller prints in the back. So to figure out whether it's a rabbit or a squirrel track, well, you really just have to follow the trail and see where it goes. This trail ends at the tree, so I can pretty safely assume that we have squirrel tracks. This track pattern that I want to show you here is made of older tracks, so they're not new, they're filled in with snow, but we can still see the pattern pretty well. And as you look at it, these little depressions in the ground here, they're almost in a straight line, so single tracks almost in a straight line. These belong to a group of animals called the walkers. So in Michigan, these would be felines, canines, and deer. And of course, as they walk, they place their feet on the ground almost in a straight line, so you get this nice pattern. So of course, to be able to know which of those animals it is, a wild cat or a dog or a deer, we would have to be able to see the prints a little bit more carefully. But another clue that you can look at is the distance in between the tracks. Here's my hand down here, so you can kind of get a gist of the size of the tracks. They're not super large, probably a deer in this case. All right, I hope that you enjoyed coming along with me and looking for tracks today. It's a beautiful day. I hope you have a chance to get out and look for some tracks on your own. And just remember, even though I'm out in the woods right now looking at tracks, you don't have to be. You can go anywhere, even out to your sidewalk or the park down the street. Wherever it is, you're going to be able to find some kind of tracks to take a look at. So thanks for joining me today. Happy naturing.